What if I told you that ISIS, the terror group we thought was wiped out years ago, is quietly regrouping? And not only that, but they might be on the verge of a dangerous comeback. Hello, and welcome to Tenor, where we break down the most important world events, the ones you need to know about, in a way that actually makes sense. Today's video dives into a warning from someone with rare credibility, a man who didn't just talk about ISIS, he actually did it. His name is Macer Gifford, and his story and his warning could be one of the most important you hear this year. This is more than terrorism. It's about how history repeats itself when we stop paying attention. So hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and let's get into the story behind the headlines. Who is Macer
My name is
Gifford?
Macer Gifford.
Macer
and I'm a
Gifford wasn't born a soldier. He was just a 25-year-old financial trader working in London in 2014, living a regular life with no military background. But when videos of ISIS's brutality began flooding the internet, such as mass executions, kidnapping schoolgirls, and the genocide of the Yazidi people, something in him snapped. While most of us were horrified and moved on, Macer bought a one-way ticket to Syria. He joined the YPG, a Kurdish militia alliance with the US in the fight against ISIS. It was incredibly risky. The UK government initially tried to stop him, but he went anyway. And once there, he saw the real war. He fought in Kobani, one of the bloodiest urban battles of the war, Raqqa, the self-declared capital of ISIS's caliphate, and Manbij, which is a key supply route for ISIS fighters and weapons. He wasn't some foreign observer on the sidelines. He carried a weapon, engaged in firefights, and even served as a medic, saving lives under sniper fire. I saw what ISIS did to families, Gifford said in an interview. They destroyed entire towns, burned books, beheaded children, and turned women into slaves. That was their ideology, domination through fear. After 3 brutal years, he returned to the UK, but the fight, it never left him. From Syria to Ukraine, fighting for justice. In 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, Macer did the unthinkable again. He joined a group of international volunteers to support Ukrainian defense forces, helping train civilians and offering humanitarian aid. But his time in Syria left him deeply scarred, not just physically, but mentally. He saw what happens when the world ignores evil. And now, in 2025, Macer is sounding the alarm again, this time from the outside. Not with a gun, but with a warning. Let that sink in. A man who risked his life to stop ISIS is now saying the job wasn't finished. Not even close. ISIS, the hidden threat inside Syrian camps. Here's where things get serious and disturbing. After the territorial defeat of ISIS in 2019, tens of thousands of ISIS fighters, their wives, and children were captured and placed into makeshift prison camps in northern Syria. The biggest and most infamous, Al Hol camp, which at one point held over 60,000 people, and Al Raj, another volatile detention center just miles away. These aren't normal camps. They're breeding grounds for anger, extremism, and future violence. Here's why. There's no proper justice system. Most people there haven't been formally charged. Repatriation efforts by foreign governments had stalled. Many won't take back their citizens. And the children, many of them have never known anything except life under ISIS rule. Some camps have radical female guards patrolling and punishing other women who don't follow strict ISIS-style behavior. Boys as young as 10 or 11 are being recruited and trained by remnants of ISIS underground cells inside the camps. One UN report called Al Hol, quote, a ticking time bomb. And according to Gifford, it's not a matter of if these camps explode, but when. Why this should terrify the West. This isn't just a Middle East problem. If you live in the US, UK, Europe, or honestly anywhere, this affects you. Remember the past? The Paris attacks in 2015 killed 130 people. The Manchester Arena bombing killed 22, many of them teenagers. And the Brussels airport bombing, the Nice truck attack, the London Bridge stabbing, all connected to ISIS or its ideology. Those attacks weren't plotted in Syria's mountains. They were carried out by radicalized individuals, some of whom grew up in environments just like Al Hol. ISIS 2.0 won't look like a big army marching through the desert. It will be small, spread out, digital, and global, and by the time we see the signs, it may already be too late. So when Macer Gifford says that we need to pay attention, he's not being dramatic. He's trying to prevent the same cycle of horror all over again. What needs to happen now? So what do? According to Gifford, here's what has to happen immediately. 1. Repatriation and prosecution. Countries must take back their citizens and put them through proper legal systems. Leaving them in lawless camps only fuel more chaos. 2. Massive investments in de-radicalization, especially for children. These kids are victims too, and if we abandon them, we create future terrorists. 3. International support for Kurdish forces. The Kurds are stretched thin. They helped defeat ISIS, and now they're guarding thousands of their former enemies with almost no backup. 4. Media attention. The story has to stay alive. If it fades from the headlines, so does the urgency. This is preventable, but only if we act before the next wave hits. Macer Gifford isn't a politician. He doesn't have a million followers or a flashy PR team. He's a guy who chose to walk into hell so that others didn't have to. And now he's telling us that hell is coming back, unless we stop it. So what do? Do we care enough to act, or do we repeat history all over again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. Do you believe that ISIS is truly gone, or is it just waiting for the world to look the other way? If you made it this far, you're the kind of person this channel is for. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you stay ahead of the curve. Thanks for watching Tenor, and I'll see you next time.
The question of what will happen to these